Time for another edition of Walkin and Talkin. This time we're in the playoffs. I've got former Coyotes All-Star goaltender Sean Burke, and we're going to talk right away, Burkie, about Adin Hill, who developed in the desert. Can you tell me a little bit about his game right now in these playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, Adin's obviously worked really hard this year. You know, he had an injury and went down and played a little bit in the American League, and I give him a lot of credit. He's just battled hard to get his game to where it is. His confidence level's been higher. You know, Freddie Brathwaite down in the minors worked with him a little bit as well. We've been real lucky around here, and you know, Adin's just a good, hard-working kid.
When you're sitting there up in the press box in the playoffs, you were a guy that's been there before. You had a long run your rookie season with New Jersey. Do you get that excitement? Do you want to get back out there? Do you feel like, gosh, I wish I was out there?
No, to be honest, no, I don't. I mean, I had my day. I put the pads on a couple times this year, and I realized if I never put them on again, that'll be fine. But what I get excited for is obviously this time of year, the hockey's outstanding, the intensity, the competitiveness. And as a former goalie, you realize that, you know, this is such an important position. And at this time of the year, you're under the microscope. So I get excited for our guys because I think those experiences are unbelievable. Yeah,
for the rest of this interview, turn to the PHNX YouTube channel because we're going to ask about the reverse VH. Sean, we talk about it on our show all the time, the reverse VH. I hate seeing a guy your size, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", getting beat over the shoulder. Goalie coaches tell me all the time, but you still need it in your game. What are your thoughts on the reverse VH?
Well, I think there's a time for it. You know, I've never been a guy that really felt you play every situation just one way. I think you have to be consistent. If that's a part of your game that you feel is best served for that play, when there's, you know, pucks below the goal line, wide angle shots, as long as you're aware that the shooters, you know, they adjust too.
Yeah.
So when they know goaltenders are going to go down early, they're obviously going to look for those spots up top, and you will see goals consistently happen in our league. So I think it's more of, you got to get comfortable playing it that way, but you also got to be aware that it's not just a situation you block and, you know, you hope that you make the save. You got to be able to cover the upper part of the net too.
Yeah, and one more thing, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. You see all the stuff going on in Arizona right now with the vote and the arena and all of those things. You had some really good years in Arizona. Do you think hockey can survive in the desert in Arizona?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the NHL Final Four right now, and there are all Sun Belt markets. Yeah. They're all places that we've lived there. You still live there. There's no place better in my opinion in the league to live. Yeah. And there's great fans there. They've supported the team incredibly well. I mean, again, without being negative, you have to have strong ownership. You have to have an ownership in this league that does the things that they need to do to make sure that the fans want to come to every game. You put the type of team on the ice they want to see. And I really believe that if they can straighten that part of it out and get a solid ownership in there, that should be one of the top markets in the league.
And lastly, I want to ask you this, because we talk about how Arizona's always trying to find that right fit for a goaltender. And you look at some of the guys that have been through there that you personally helped. We called you the goalie whisperer. We talk about Brizgalov, Dubnyk, and now you're doing it here with Adin Hill. What makes you so good at getting these guys to play at their best?
Well, good goalies to start with. Let's be honest. I mean, this is the toughest league, the best league in the world, and there's a lot of guys out there and I've been fortunate to work with, who I think had more in their game than they were able to show. Yeah. And you know, because I played so long, I think there's things that I saw that I could help bring out in their game. But at the end of the day, the player has to be willing to make adjustments. The player does the work. I like to think of myself as a guy that can help them with their confidence, has been through the things that they're going through, and maybe that's a bit of an advantage for me. But really, at the end of the day, I've been very fortunate to get guys that were A, great athletes, and B, were at points in their career that they wanted to adjust and get better.
Thanks to Sean Burke, goalie coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, former All-Star with the Coyotes. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Walkin and Talkin. We'll see you real soon. Thanks.